Hello and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager 6 stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager, not pictured on your screen, but with me, and well, I guess technically he's actually an avatar, is FHM producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with our 1960s, the Swingin' 60s Vancouver Canucks stream. Jeff, what's going on? What's happened?
Well, one thing we should mention right out of the gate, had a little, I was checking something in this game while I was testing out the new update, which is getting very close. You'll see some of that tonight because that's what we're playing with right now. But I somehow managed to, still not sure how I did it, but did something that caused the news to behave really, really weirdly. And we got a bunch of sort of non-existent stories popping up. So I've cleared the news out. Hopefully it doesn't affect anything in the game. Don't think it will because I ran a test after doing that and everything seemed to work normally. But if we get any oddness with the news, that's what's going on. It's because we're doing this on a test build.
I get it.
Getting back to where we were, just if you haven't seen this stream before, what we're doing is playing a game starting in 1965. And instead of doing the historical NHL expansion in 67, 68, we've gone back a couple of years, and there was actually a proposal in the early mid-60s that the NHL would expand to Vancouver, build an arena downtown. Stafford Smythe, the part owner of the Maple Leafs, made this proposal. It wound up getting, the politicians in Vancouver were fairly happy with it, but it got voted down in an election, and that deal went away, and then the Canucks wound up kind of allegedly out of spite. Smythe prevented the Canucks from being part of the first expansion, so we're just sort of dialing the clock back and putting it, let's say this did happen. We've got a brand new arena in downtown Vancouver, and the Canucks are the only expansion team in 1965, and I think what we'll do as we get to future seasons, instead of doing the one big expansion like happened historically, we'll add teams in one or two at a time. And because that was one of the, I've been doing a little reading about the history of NHL expansion in the 60s, and that was the alternate proposal, sort of do it the way Major League Baseball did, and instead of expanding in one big go, add a couple of teams one year, a couple of teams the next year, and go that way. So I think we'll add somebody when we get up to January, and I think we may make it at the end of this show, because I don't think we're going to be making the playoffs. And we'll decide, well, yeah, let's be realistic here, and we'll decide which team we're going to add first. But just to recap where we were, not making the playoffs, we're 17 points out of last place, 24 points out of a playoff spot, with only 28 games to go in the season. The nice thing about expansion, being the only expansion team, is you get a pretty good selection of players, and we managed to put together a fairly decent team. Good goaltending, fair amount of depth on the forwards. Scoring D is a little bit shaky, maybe. The problem is, without any other expansion teams, you've got the 6 established teams who wind up beating up on you.
But we have really good goaltending.
Yeah, well, we need it because we're getting worked over pretty good. So I think we'll just continue on with where we were. We've got a couple of injuries. Bob Wojtowicz, Orland Kurtenbach, both out for a week or 2, 3 weeks maybe. Nothing too critical. Bob Bond, day-to-day injury. And I'll just show you where the scoring, you see, we just haven't been getting much scoring at all. Wayne Connolly, who pretty good WHA player a few years after this in real life, is our leading scorer far and away. And then after that, I mean, if Eddie Shack is your number 2 scorer, you've got a problem.
What?
So it's... And I'm just, hopefully, it looks like everything's working properly with the new update. We made some changes in the way the game does a pregame check to make sure you've got enough players, and they were causing some problems, so we just reverted them today, and this is a brand new build I'm looking at. But everything seemed to work okay for there, other than the fact that we got outshot badly and shut out 4-0 by the Wings.
Of course.
Did we call Bob Wall up? I guess we did. And he wants 2. He can't have that. That's Gary Bergman's number, so he can wear 6. And Bruins up next. And Jackman is hot, but let's see if we can get Sawchuk warmed up a little bit. Oh, I know what we were doing, I think, where we left off last time. Oh, Terry Sawchuk comes up with a 5-2 win for us over Boston. So we may make it into double figures. Double pictures?
Huzzah.
Double figures for wins this year. And we've got a player waived. Did I not? Oh, I took the waiver column out of there. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a goalie, Roy Edwards from Chicago, who's not really of any interest to us. Fitness is looking problematic. Well, we got a game tomorrow. Let's see how much they recover. No, that's better.
What's he up to?
Goalies are back to 100. We've got a couple of our defensemen are in the 70s. Can't really do a lot about it right now because we've got the one guy out day to day, and Doug Roberts is suspended for, I think, one more game. So we're just going to have to roll with it. Go with Sawchuk again. See if we can come up with 2 in a row. But no, 6-3 loss to Toronto, and yeah, we got outshot badly again. So yeah, we really need another weak team or 2 in this league before we can start winning.
Sounds like the usual Canucks.
Good news is we should have the first overall draft pick next year, and unfortunately we're a year too late for Bobby Orr. He's going to be on the Bruins next year. He's their property already, but he's too young to play. But I think Brad Park, if I remember correctly, is going to be up in this draft, so that should fix our defense in a hurry.
I think that's what we said.
Bruins up next. Can we make it 2 in a row against them? Well, 1-1 tie. I'm not going to complain about that. Okay, good. Roberts' suspension is up, and Vaughn is just about ready. And apparently Milt Schmidt, the coach of the Bruins, isn't happy with the local media.
Shocked. I'm shocked.
Looks like Vaughn needs a little help getting back to 100%, so we'll set him out for 1.
Pewog in the chat, or in our Twitch chat, says go Wings, and Kirk Douglas, rest in peace.
103 years. Pretty good run.
Absolutely.
And another tie. And again, the Leafs shut us out again. Okay, defensemen are both back. Kurtenbach and Mojdowicz are just about back too, so we should be 100% healthy unless something goes badly wrong in the next game or 2.
Not that that would ever happen.
Let's try Sawchuk again. Jackman's cooling down. And shut out 6-0 by the Leafs.
Ouch.
When's the...
Jeff, have you tried not losing?
I hadn't thought of that. That's a brilliant plan, Adam.
Good. I'm glad I could be of
We're
service.
still about a month out from the trading deadline, so I think we'll just theoretically see what would happen if I were to shop Sawchuk right now. No offers whatsoever. That's not encouraging.
In fairness, Sawchuk at this point probably, jumped around and was on the waiver.
He's got a high-end salary too, at least relative to the time, $73,000. So I think that's actually our highest paid guys. Now Carl Brewer's got 75, but everybody else is only
Well
four
below.
digits or like below 5. Now a couple in the 40s, Duff and Ferguson. And we do come up with a 5-3 win over the Rangers. And still not quite on our 2 injured list, guys, but we'll have to shuffle around the roster around shortly to accommodate them. Leafs, since I assume we're going to get shouted again, might as well throw the backup in. Sawchuk. Oh no, we got a couple of goals on him this time. 5-2 instead of 5-0. Yeah, I gotta
More people cheering for the Wings in the chat.
check the job security. Oh, the fans are relatively happy.
It's just because they have a hockey team.
Yeah, job security's still in the green, so I think we're going to get at least another season out of this. But yeah, 17 points out of 6th place and 25 out of playoff spot.
Typical Canucks season.
Ouch, 8-4 against the Canadians. And we didn't even get outshot that. Oh no, I don't think. No, that's Jacqueline led in 7. We didn't get outshot that much. They just hung 8 goals on us somehow. There we go. We finally got Kurtenbach back.
Hooray!
I think the roster isn't full.
How many times have the Wings won since CA has? I'm not sure what PWOG means in the chat. He's got me on that.
Yeah, you got me there too. I'm not sure on that one.
I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to say. CA.
By the way, we are doing this on both Steam and Twitch. So if you're listening on Steam and hearing us talk to people in the chat, we're talking about the Twitch chat.
Oh. Well, you got to be like that, PWOG. It's 4 times.
This isn't good. We're doing worse and the goalies are cooling off.
Sounds like a typical stream, Jeff. Let's be honest here.
Only a 2-1 loss this time. So we're not getting completely humiliated. That's kind of an improvement, isn't it?
Well, it's slightly better than what it was.
7-2 loss against the Rangers. Development report. Bob Bond headed downhill. That's not good. He's only 29. Forbes Kennedy 2, and then a few of the other guys. Tony Esposito, our goalie of the future, is...
Jeff, stop for a second.
Yeah.
You might want to look at your upcoming free agents and lengthen some of these guys if they'll stay.
Good point.
There's only 2 of them, but...
Oh, it's Sawchuk and Harvey, though.
Yeah. Well, Harvey's still pretty serviceable.
What does Sawchuk... well, at least Sawchuk will take a pay cut.
Does he only want 1 year?
Yep. Let's see if he goes a little lower than that. Nope, he won't go.
Doug Harvey wants a pay cut too, at least in my game.
Must be getting really cheap. I wouldn't be surprised if he retired at the end of this season, but... wow, he actually wants 2 years in mine.
Well, I was going to say, offer him a 2-year deal.
I'll cut it down a little bit more than what he's asking for. Nope.
Sawchuk could retire too, for that matter.
And just checking if we got anybody in the minors. No, those are everybody else is at least 2 years away. Okay, Sawchuk and Harvey both re-signed, so we got no free agents to worry about this year at least. We do have to worry about getting more than 10 wins, though. And both goalies have gone cold, even better.
I think there's a Rolling Stones song about that, Jeff.
7-1 loss against the Wings.
You can't always get what you want. You can't
Geez,
always get what you
new
want.
guys in. Sawchuck in against Montreal. How badly do we lose this one? 6-0.
Smoking.
We're doing good at this point if we get within a couple of goals. And Dick Duff out with a hip strain.
Still a great name.
Duffman. And I think we might get back here.
Oh, yeah.
Fortunately, we had a little bit of a gap in the schedule there, and I think, Wojtowicz is back now. Okay, so Kurtenbach in, Wall out, Vaughn in. Oh, wait, Wojtowicz. How's Hillman been doing? Hillman, not so good. 54 overall game rating, so he's going to sit. Wojtowicz can go in. What does that make our lines look like? Going to up the time just a little bit on that second line, since we're getting a lot of scoring there. Will any of that matter? Let's see. Almost won. 5-4 loss against the Bruins. And we got another injury apparently. Great. Another winger down. Johnny McKenzie. 1 to 2 weeks. So Claude LaRose. We'll just drop him right into that lineup spot. And hey, a 3-3 tie against the Rangers.
Chat Dote G says missing left winger, but I think that's at this time in the NHL they couldn't dress a full team, or what we would consider a full team.
Yeah, it was only was it 16 skaters?
18. Yeah, 18 players total.
18 skaters and 2 goalies, or 16 skaters and 2 goalies. 18 players total. And now Howard Harvey is apparently hurt. Only day to day though. So Wall can go.
This is 1966.
65, 66.
65, 66. My bad.
AI has started using Sawchuck more often than goal. So he pushed Giacomin down. Well, Giacomin's hurt now. 1 to 2 weeks, so looks like Tony Esposito gets a little bit of time. Didn't really expect to use him this year, but he got a bunch of time at the start of the year. And now he's...
Gordie Howe days. Yeah.
Yep, literally Gordie Howe days, because if you look at the stats leaders, Gordie Howe tied for Bobby Hall for the scoring lead.
He's dominating. As kind of expected, to be honest.
And I'm actually going to start Esposito against Montreal. You never know. Well, didn't do too badly. 4-2 loss. We are down to 10 games remaining. Can we make it to 10 wins?
Probably not.
Not healthy to lose our starting goalie. 4-1 loss against Chicago. How many in a row is this? We're going to be in trouble soon. This isn't good. Wow, look at that. Last win was January 22nd. It's now February 15th. 3, 6. 10 losses and 1 tie since then.
That's a few losses, Jeff.
It is. Good news is Dick Duff. Good news is Dick Duff is back, but now we got a bunch of new injuries. Ted Hampson, our captain, day to day with cut hand. Forbes Kennedy out, broken nose day to day. Do we have? No, we can't spare the lineup spot, so I'm going to have to. Hey,
Day to day could
somebody
be a
down. Say again.
I said day to day could be a week or a week and a half, anyways.
I think I'm going to have to put somebody.
Put him on the IR.
Yeah, even despite being just day to day, I'm going to have to do that with Forbes Kennedy just to make room to bring Duff off the injured list. Oh, he's got one more day. Now he's back. Okay, he's out. Bill Collins goes back to the bench. What kind of lines do we get here? Yeah, Duff on the first line. Connolly finally moves up to the top line. I don't even want to look at our stats, but let's just see how bad it is. Oh, actually, well, Connolly's pushing 40 points, and Red Berenson has picked it up too. Game ratings. Carl Brewer, easily our best guy. Our captain Hampson also doing pretty well. And yeah, the bottom end defensemen, some of our younger guys, are the ones with the lowest game rating, so nothing too surprising there. And Gordie Howe signed a new contract with Detroit. 1-year extension. 3-3 tie against Montreal. So we're probably going to finish this with more ties than wins in our first year.
Take what you can get.
And we've got a few guys ready or almost ready. Doug Harvey's going back in. Oh, great. Now Ferguson's hurt. And now Hampson is hurt. Come on.
Jeff, what are you doing, Jeff? Stop injuring everybody.
I'm not sure if I believe these guys are really injured. They just want to play because we keep getting beaten up.
Definitely a problem.
Okay, do I have enough players? Nope, I'm going to have to call somebody up from our farm team, the Victoria Canucks, formerly the Victoria Maple Leafs. And just because I'm only going to be doing this for a game or two, let's give Glenn Sather his first NHL game.
Guru in the chat says, is this going to be a new record for the worst historical stream? Can you add it to your honor roll, Jeff?
We have one go really bad, I can't remember, a couple of years back. I don't think this is necessarily the worst one. It's got to be nice, though. Tony
You thinking we played the New York Americans?
No, I don't think we ever had a really bad season with them, did we?
Well, you got fired, so it certainly wasn't good.
That wasn't fair.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right.
You keep telling yourself that.
Okay, Leafs again with a warmed up Sawchuk, and we come up finally, a 3-1 win against Toronto.
Huzzah, huzzah.
Reggie Fleming puts 2 goals past Johnny Bauer. Oh, and we got the trade deadline coming up in a week. Goal differential, negative 118.
Solid numbers.
That's not good. Road record, 325-4. Ouch.
Just what your coach wants to hear.
Little bit of a break here, apparently. Looks like we haven't had any more news problems after those earlier ones with the new updates, so that's good news. Okay, back to the games. Play this one and see if we can do anything worthwhile at the trading deadline. John Ferguson is back. Johnny McKenzie is back. Anybody on the injured list? Forbes Kennedy needs one more day. And a 3-1 loss against Chicago, which at least isn't too humiliating. And we got a back-to-back against Chicago, it looks like. Development report. More of the same, pretty much. Sawchuk declined a bit. Oh, Bill Collins with improvement in 4 categories. That's good news.
Better than none.
It's trading deadline day. So what do you think, Adam? Any ideas here?
Honestly, I don't think there's much we can do. I think we kind of just take our lumps and just go with it as it is. There's no point in us trading for anyone, and I don't really think we have anyone who's of value who we want to get rid of.
Try trolling Sawchuk around now that he's signed the extension. See if anybody's interested. Nothing. Let's see.
Unless you wanted to try to move like
Doug Harvey.
I was going to say Bobby Bond might be worth something, but that would be...
Oh, looks like we got our offers for Harvey. So Montreal wants Jacques Lemieux. Is offering Jacques Lemieux a half star. No thanks. Bruins Grant Erickson, 1-star potential.
No.
Blackhawks Billy Taylor Jr. Nope, nothing there. The Wings offering Sid Abel's son, Jerry. I think that's his son. Also half stars, so yeah, we're not being offered anything useful at all for him.
Try Bobby Bond.
Okay, that'll be my last shopping attempt of the day.
I think he might get something, but that would be about it.
Probably should have put a couple of guys on the trading block before that. Okay, Canadians offering Ron Atwell for him, 1-star, and no. Oh, Bruins, Keith McCreary. That's a possibility.
Tell me about Keith McCreary.
Good two-way guy, plays both wings, 2-star potential. That's a maybe. Hawks, Dave Richardson, who's been playing regularly for him this year. He's 1.5 stars. It's not that bad. Wings, Bob McCord, 1-star defenseman. No. And the Rangers offering Ray Cullen, who's decent offensive center, but I think we've already got Andre Lacroix in that third, fourth line center spot, so I don't think we want him. So I think we're going to take Keith McCreary from the Bruins, which will...
Are we sure we want to get rid of Bond? That's the only other thing.
McCreary's 4 years younger. We're going to have to replace Bond as the assistant captain. And, I mean, Bond's 2 stars. We've got a bunch of 2-star defensemen. We're sitting out Wayne Hillman now, who's 2 stars. It'll give us, and I've had to play half-star or 1-star guys on the wing a few times this season, so I think we're better off with McCreary.
Okay.
And he's a little younger, so we will complete that, and that'll probably be our only trade deadline deal. Bring him up. And if he's up, then Bill Collins can finally go down. Injury list, Kennedy is back, so he's onto the active roster, and we can leave it like that for now, but we're going to be getting Ted Hampson, it's still 1 or 2 weeks. Hillman's almost back, and Jacqueline's almost back as well, so that's going to open up a roster spot. Oh, yeah, the defenseman spot that we just cleared. And I think we did fix, incidentally, in the update that issue that was causing the AI to put two players in the same spot on the fourth line when you didn't have the full 12 forwards available.
Excellent.
Okay, so back to losing.
Gudu says, what are the plans for getting them goals back next season?
Hopefully get somebody good in draft. That's about it. Ouch. 9-4 loss against the Blackhawks. Stan Mikita, 6 points. Bobby Hull, also a hat trick, 4 points.
That, and as Jeff also mentioned, if we add another team, we can dilute the pool a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be somebody who's slightly worse than us.
We could also make ourselves exempt from it, too.
I was just going to say that. We can. We won't force ourselves to lose players in the expansion draft. And that'll weaken the other teams a little bit, at least. Okay, Tony Esposito back down. Hillman's still out. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Sent the wrong goalie down. Wait,
oh, nice. Put him on a bus and then go, wait, I didn't mean to send you down.
Oh, no. Did I? Oh, that's not good. I accidentally waved Ed Jockman. Uh-oh.
Our best goalie. Oh, how nice.
That was stupid. That was really stupid.
That's one word for it. Yep.
Let's just hope, because, I mean, it's... he didn't get picked up, thankfully.
That's a surprise, actually.
Well, not really, because the goaltending depth is so good in the league with, I mean, only 12 jobs available. If I look through it, I mean, Montreal, Hodge, and Worsley, everybody is 2.5 stars or better, and like half the goalies in the league are future Hall of Famers.
Fair enough.
So we got away with that. And I will start paying a little more attention to who I'm sending down.
Probably a good call.
And now that we've sent him down, made him angry at us, let's play him in goal and see how badly he does. Oh, 3-2 loss only. 3 games left. We did finally get our 10th win of the season, at least. Sawchuk is a little hotter, so I'm going to play him in the second half of the back-to-back, and he gets a tie out of it for us. And naturally gets injured. Great. It's only... Terry Sawchuk with a serious facial cut. There's a surprise.
Sounds about right.
You've ever seen a close-up picture of Terry Sawchuk, the man had 1 or 2 scars. And by 1 or 2, I mean dozens. Well, that was smart. I traded for McCreary, and I wasn't even playing him. Swap out Willie O'Ree for him for the last couple of games. Trying to go a little too fast here. Okay, Red Wings. Come on, get us a late season win. Nope,
Huh.
shutout 3-0 by Detroit. One more game to go. Oh, and it looks like Ted Hampson might almost be ready to come back. No, he is.
Gudu's asks if your confidence ratings have dropped.
Let's take a look. Yes, they have. Ouch. We're down into yellow. Fan happiness is down to 41. Let's hope we don't get fired in the offseason. I'm
Oh no, just
not.
playing a historical game and might get fired. I wonder what would happen.
I know. Okay. Final game of the season. We'll give Sawchuk the start, and it's a 6-4 loss. And the rest of the league has one more game to play. So that's how the regular season standings work out. You know, literally every team in the league is either just even with goals for and goals against us, or significantly better. We are 131 goals short.
Oops.
32 points out of the next worst spot. So
next.
remember how I was saying at the start of this that I was hoping we could maybe get into fifth and beat one of the established teams?
You're just going to put Wayne Gretzky on your team in 65, aren't you?
That would be cheating, and I wouldn't do that. Never.
I'm sorry. I think Gudu just fell out of his chair when you said that.
Yeah. So I wonder if we got nominated for any awards.
Dote G says you need to fire your fitness assistant. Is there an award for worst GM? Because then you probably would have got it.
Well, see, I'm going to get it next season, though, because we're going to have a huge comeback, and that's a big factor in who gets the top GM award. Oh, one thing we did change, you see what I did there? When you're in the playoffs now, instead of when you open up the standing screen, it'll go straight to the playoff tree. You don't have to do that extra step of where it opens to the standings, and you have to find the playoff tab to see what the playoffs are doing. So it's a little easier to see.
Goody throwing up the Hail Mary saying if you relocate every offseason, would your job rating go back up?
Looks like we may have a Montreal-Toronto final.
Which would make sense.
Leafs are up 2-0. Leafs are up 3-1. Who's the winner of the previous season? Oh yeah, we're into that period where it was Montreal and Toronto back and forth for a while. And that's the end of the season. I'm assuming, yep, the Leafs 1-6.
Okay, you might actually be able to get 2 decent players from this draft.
That's it?
Well, between your first and second round picks, there's not a huge amount of names.
And did we get anybody on the postseason All-Star team? Nope. Lots of Canadians, a few Hawks, Gordie Howe. Pretty much about who you'd expect.
Like this upcoming draft has, as I said, Brad Park. Only two other All-Stars are Joey Johnson and Don Luch. And the other couple notable names I recognize, my personal recognize, are round 3 picks, Garnett, Ace Bailey, and Rick Lay. So again, not huge amounts of talent.
Yeah, we've got the scouts on. Getting a few off-season stories. Oh, Billy Ray retires as the Hawks coach. He didn't do that for a few more years in the real NHL. And who'd they? Oh, okay, real Canucks coach Phil Watson is hired to replace him. Hall of Fame nominees, so we gotta pick an extra nominee. I'm gonna go with Bill Mosienko because he's from Winnipeg. Good enough reason?
Sure. Also,
we did make a couple
player,
of changes
let's be
to the
honest.
Hall of Fame in the next update. It won't start if you're starting a game in the early years of the NHL. The Hall of Fame won't exist until 1945 like it did in real life. What were you saying, Adam?
I said he was also a pretty good player. I believe is
That
what I
too.
said. Oh. In my game, he got fired.
I got fired in your game?
Yep.
Well, thankfully.
Ironically, Doug Harvey was named new head coach.
So we'd rather go with a current player than let me coach. What day did you get fired on that one?
That was at the end of April. I finished, it's simming it out. I finished 10, 48, and 12.
And I got my Hall of Fame belt.
So I got two less than you, and still.
So apparently those 2 extra wins made the difference for me.
Apparently. No, wait, didn't you have 10 wins?
Oh, we got some staff to renew?
Those 2 ties made a difference.
Forgot to re-sign our staff, but fortunately... didn't miss the messages, so we can get all those guys back. But we're going to have, or at least once we finally get up to the end of the month, is that all my staff? Yeah, there we go, we're good.
That's assuming nobody retires.
No, nobody did. Although we may get that in July.
Well, I was just saying half of your staff is 60.
A lot of red X's on the end of the season summary. Oh, until we get to the negative categories, then I got a bunch of check marks.
Huzzah!
Total season score, 0. It's the first time I've ever done that. Literally 0. Okay. So June 30th, nothing to do here, but I will only advance it one day. Where are we going to put the next NHL expansion team?
I think it only makes sense to go to California.
Yeah, actually, if I remember right, that was the strongest candidate out of the team out of the original or out of the 1967 expansion teams. They had like 4 or 5 ownership groups that were interested in putting a team there, because this is only about 7-8 years after the Giants and Dodgers moved to California.
Yeah, but I mean, you also have a WHL connection.
Yeah,
between
so
Vancouver and California.
We will just use the 67 Kings as the template. So the Kings are now
I was thinking the Golden Seals. Come on, Jeff.
Oh, you wanted them in Oakland. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, too late. We did LA.
Add 2 teams.
I'm going to leave it at 70 games for this year, and then probably
If you add 2 teams, think about how better you could do.
Tempting. Do we change the playoffs at all, though, if we go to 2 teams?
Not for this next year.
Wait, let me see what the playoff options. could go back to a 16 playoff. Like they did in the... Oh, no, I think you need 2 divisions for that to work properly, so I won't do that. Okay, 2 teams it is. Where's the other team going?
Again, bring back the Golden Seals.
Okay, we're going all West Coast expansion then, huh?
Oh, it's that or Minnesota. But I think that if they did it, it would probably bring in 2 West Coast teams.
Okay, so we had Oakland generate a schedule of 70 games. We got that done. We will stick with the 4-team playoff. Now, expansion draft. I think I'm just going to go with the baseline rules here because we've got to fill 2 teams, and we don't want LA and Oakland to be too terrible, right?
Are you going to exclude yourself or no?
Yes, I am. So we're not going to lose any players, just the original 6 teams will. But should I allow them to take a few to expand to protect a few more guys?
They can protect 2 goalies each. And let's say 5 defensemen. 4 defensemen. 7 forwards. Move it to 8 forwards. 2, 4, 8. Nice round of 14 numbers.
Yeah, because that kind of... I mean, when they did the real expansion draft, the teams... I think
offered
it was the 67
nothing.
draft. The teams were allowed... The established teams were allowed to fill players back in after the first... I can't remember exactly how many rounds it was, but after a few players had been drafted, they were allowed to add players to their protected list. Was that 67 or was that 70? I can't remember.
Put the max players lost per team down to what? 6 teams, say 15 each.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get that high, but I can set it there. And
it's set to 50, so I think
we'll let them... I don't think I'll change the number of rounds. 3 goalies, 9 defensemen, 14 forwards.
Yeah, but 2, 4, 8 is kind of a nice, more round number for them to protect most of their top interests.
And how are we going to do exemption based on age or experience?
Okay, remind me what the difference is, because I'm sure somebody out there is asking.
If it's an age-based exemption, everybody under, if I'm like the way I'm doing it now, say 20 and under, the way I've got it, I just set it. Anybody on the team, anybody contracted to one of the established teams doesn't have to be placed on a protected list. They're not subject to this draft at all. And if the other option would be doing it by experience, and it would be everybody under who's played, say, fewer than 2 years in the league. Wouldn't have to be exposed. But I think what I'm going to do is just set it...
I think that's probably the better thing to do, though, is be experience for this one.
The only thing is I don't think that's going to work that well. I'll probably do it for the next one.
Okay.
Just because because a lot of could potentially be a lot of players.
Gudu says 2 teams in California, and oh yeah, absolutely. How could you not want the Golden Seals? That's Jeff's fallback team when he gets fired.
Okay, so the expansion draft is July the 4th.
Why are you setting it so late?
Wait, when's the
mine
amateur draft is the day before the... I want the amateur draft the day first. The day before. So
mine's set for July 2nd, so...
Yeah.
All right, I'll switch it to be the same as yours.
And Doug Harvey retired on us.
I am shocked.
Alan Stanley retiring from the Leafs. Jacques Plante, a little early retiring from the Rangers.
What?
And Johnny Bauer from the Leafs, so a lot of goalies went.
Huh. That's.
Uh-oh. Wasn't thinking. I forgot by adding 2 teams.
You dropped down to third pick, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I guess Brad Park isn't eligible for this one. Must be next year. I'm not seeing him on the list.
Well, he was for this draft, so I'm not sure.
Well, let's see what happens. Seals lead off, taking Gary Unger. Kings next, Gary Edwards. I mean, Guy Lapointe is there, so that's future Hall of Fame defenseman. Probably the best option because we're not going to get Kharlamov over from Russia. As tempting as that is.
Why not?
Because we won't be able to sign him, and it seems unlikely that we're going to be able to sneak him out of the Soviet Union.
I think we can. If we work hard and smart, we could get him.
So we get a pretty good defenseman. I think it was the 3-star potential, 3.5. And yeah, drops off quite a bit after that. Our only other draft pick, we should probably take a forward with this for this one.
Katola. Actually, Ernie Hickey's there, or it isn't mine.
Yeah, that may be the best one. Or actually, Lou Morrison, who's a good defensive forward, and God knows we need defensive help. He won't score much, but be a good guy for the checking line because
you might be able to get him next round.
There's only 2 rounds.
That was the joke. Take Hickey.
No, we do actually have him scouted. Okay, yeah, he's a little better, a little more well-rounded. And let the computer finish it up. And now the expansion draft. So we'll just let the computer do that quickly. Let's see what it did. So Gump Worsley, first overall, goes to Oakland. Dennis Jordy from Chicago to the Kings. So yeah, it looks like they've got pretty good goaltending. Younger-ish defenseman Bob Bond, who we traded to the Bruins, winds up going to Oakland, so he gets taken in 2 consecutive expansion drafts. Bruins lost Don Oury. And yeah, this is actually almost what the forwards look like. This is probably at least as good as the group we got. Tell me we're not going to...
Jeff draws the line at sneaking Russians into the league.
Oh, we got the wrong over the Kings. We'll have to fix that for next week. But there's the...
You know what the issue is on that?
What?
I was just looking because I had that. My Oakland one didn't show up either. And it's because we brought them in a year early.
Oh, yeah, it's the naming thing.
So the years are put on them.
I can fix that easy enough, yeah.
Yep.
Kings don't look too bad. Maybe not quite as good as us, but pretty close. Kings picking Winnipegger, Ted Irvin, and quick, who is Ted Irvin the father of? Come on, you should know this. You're from Manitoba.
He went to play for the Rangers, didn't he?
Ted Irvin.
Irvin.
Yeah. But
yeah.
No,
So
his son isn't a hockey player.
I know. So it's CJ2K.
There we go. Who got it before you? AEW superstar Chris Jericho.
I
Oh
had to
wow,
work that
they
backwards in my head.
the Seals actually wound up in pretty good shape. Although I'm wondering about some of these guys a little bit overrated. It's a little more depth at forward and Worsley in goal. And what did the other teams wind up looking like? Boston relatively good, and now they've got. No, they haven't brought out Warrior up yet, but I think we'll see him this season. Hawks are getting a little thin. They've still got Hull and Nikita. They got the first line and Pierre Pilote on D, but after that, not so great. Oh, good goaltending too. The Wings. Still got Howe, obviously, Alex Delvecchio, Roger Crozier. Okay, so I think this is going to be a lot more competitive in the second season than the mess we had in the first season. Habs look pretty good.
It can't be any worse, that's for sure.
Rangers were a relatively young team, so they're getting better.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
What?
I'm just looking here. In mine, Oakland didn't get a goalie.
That's weird. I think did you set something up wrong? Because it should draft.
Yeah, something definitely went. I must have missed something because something went off here.
And the Leafs are not. Wow, the Leafs actually. Wow, they're in bad shape. Goaltending is kind of questionable. Defense is kind of leaning on super old Red Kelly and Tim Horton. And forwards still got Frank Mahovlich and Dave Keon, but after them, George Armstrong's getting older. I think we might actually be maybe not quite as good as Toronto, but reasonably close. So I will probably get everybody signed offline and get us up to at least the start of the exhibition season, maybe partway through it. Well, let's just take a quick look before we do that and before we sign off.
I know what I did.
What'd you do?
I forgot to set the restrictions on who they could protect. I mean, other than like the main things, for the age limit stuff, so it limited what the teams could do.
We actually got a couple of borderline free agents. Future Winnipeg Jets coach Bill Sutherland. But there's not really that much. Oh wait, sort by potential. Well, we got a few decent guys we could probably pick up and at least fill out the minor league team, but that will be for next time, I think, because I think we're pretty much done here. Adam, do you want to wind it up?
Sure. Thank you very much for tuning in to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we're at Franchise Hockey, where you can also find a link to our official Discord. And, of course, come on down to our official website, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, where you can come talk about Franchise Hockey Manager, Out of the Park Baseball, Perfect Team, or anything else you want to. Jeff, did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so. Like I was mentioning, we're working on the next update right now. Found a couple of little glitches today that I don't think I want to release it with. So we will probably clear that up tomorrow, but I think we're looking hopefully something out for you guys by the end of this week. And there'll be a roster update this one, but we'll have a more complete one next time because that'll be the last trading deadline, and that'll probably be the one after this one will be the last, the final big update for FHM. So that's our until at that point we start working on FHM 7 for next year. And I guess we'll be back next week with Adam's Minnesota Wild stream. Now that's finally starting to turn around, and he didn't get fired.
No, we have survived, and we're sitting on the precipice of the draft. Yep. Gonna do it live, so I don't have to hear Jeff complain.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you're not going to mysteriously get the number 1 overall pick?
Oh yeah, sure, mysterious. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, thanks everybody for coming out, and we will see you back here next week.